Communication Workers Union delegates representing almost 60,000 staff at BT have voted unanimously to hold a strike ballot as the current standoff over pay continues. An emergency motion held at the CWU Telecoms Annual Conference was voted for by hundreds of delegates.
Well, at today's conference, the Telecom Executive put an emergency motion to the conference for debate. And when we started that debate, the postal colleagues came in from their conference and they joined us. And it was really good to see that solidarity. And it was great to have them in the hall when we had that discussion. The main thrust of the emergency motion today was to give BT one last chance. And what we're saying quite clearly is we don't really want to get into this dispute. We want to try and negotiate a way out of it if we can. But unfortunately, BT up to now haven't done that. But we're clear. We need a rise in real terms for our members. 2% against a 4.4 inflation is basically a 2.4% cut in real terms. And the real thing that came out today, which made a difference to it, was the issue around the bonuses that were paid out to senior executive members. That was announced 15 minutes before we had this debate. And then to get these senior executive members to get the bonuses they've got at the same time as our members are getting 2%, is just totally and utterly unfair.
Now, I'll make it clear, by the way, I don't mind senior executives at a BT company making vast amount of money because it's a very successful company. What I expect is my members to get a fair share of those profits at the same time. I don't have a problem with that. Ian Livingston says they're £1 million. Let me tell you the real figures. The real figures that were announced about 15 minutes ago. The real figures for him, his salary is £850,000. And his bonus is £1.2 million. Sir Michael Rake, his actual figure is £670,000. Oh, some might say that he's not getting paid that much there. But I think you've got to take into consideration, this is for a part-time worker. Right? This guy works sometimes 3 days a week. Other weeks, sometimes it's 2. So 2 to 3 days a week, plus all the other directorships he's got elsewhere. He's the chair of BT. He's also the chair, if you don't know it, of another company called EasyJet. Not doing too well at the moment, but he's the chair of that too. Hanif Lalani. This is the guy who was the chief financial officer of BT a couple of years ago. Global Services went down the tubes. They get rid of the man in charge of that. Well, a big payoff, I've got to say, £2.5 million. Then they put Hanif Lalani in charge of it. It's turned round, he's done his work, but he's now got rid of him. And he got a total of £1.16 million of overseeing a part of the company that nearly went down the tubes. Patricia Hewitt, wonderful woman. Wonderful woman. We've got the figures there of £75,000. I know they're wrong. What I can't absolutely prove what it is, actually. I think the figure's £125,000. But we're saying the last published ones were £75,000. Patricia Hewitt. She's a non-executive director of BT. She was an ex-MP. She's in receipt of a very large pension from the best pension scheme in Britain. You don't want to change that one, do they? Yeah. She's also moving on shortly to work for another company called Eurotunnel. We're led to believe she's going to get, for another part-time job, another €140,000 for that job. She's in companies, she's in Alliance Boots, she's in the board of that. She receives tens of thousands of pounds for that, plus her pension. She's doing not too bad. What gets up my nose about Patricia Hewitt, quite clearly, she sits in the committee, she chairs the committee that determines what my members are going to get. I am not taking it for Patricia Hewitt, who sits there and goes on television and sells herself for £5,000 a day to certain people, to cabinet ministers. I'm not going to sit back. Allow her. I'm not going to allow her to determine my members' pay you know, when she's sitting back taking hundreds of thousands of pounds out of it. And she was doing it when she was still an MP. And Gavin Patterson, the one that's up there, I think we said 417,000. Well, Gavin Patterson, actually this year, you know, what we've discovered now, it's slightly wrong, again. His salary is actually £500,000, £500,000 his salary, and we've just discovered some minutes ago that his bonus is £487,000. Another £1 million a year job.
Now, I've got nothing against those senior executives getting the money. If they've set the targets and they've reached their targets, that's fair, and they can get their money. But the point is, this company's now made, and the results come out the other day there, this company's now made over £1 billion profit, and we want our fair share. If it's good enough for Ian Livingston, if it's good enough for the other senior directors of this company, it's good enough for our members.
Should BT fail to make a revised pay offer that reflects the contributions made by CWU members by midday on the 4th of June, the CWU will immediately serve a formal notice to BT of the intention to ballot all appropriate members for industrial action.
I'll be writing today to BT, responding what's happened today at this conference, and I'll be giving them that opportunity to meet us. You know, this is not open-ended. If they come back by June the 4th and have a negotiate with us again, round the table, sensible negotiations, they have to move from where their position is. If they come back and offer us that, I've told you quite clearly now, I will meet with them at any time, anywhere to resolve this dispute. I don't want to get into this dispute. I don't want to take my members into this dispute. But unfortunately, if BT don't come back round the table and talk sensibly against the backdrop of the huge profits they've made, we are going to be in a dispute situation. I say I'll do everything I can to avoid that, but that might have to be the way forward.
I'll tell you what, I'm not afraid of it. I'm absolutely convinced our members will never be afraid of it. We'll put out the truth to our members, and we'll put out some of it today. Conference. You know, it's been a good debate. There's absolute full support for this. We have been dragged into this by the company. You know, if they want to put things like this out, I don't mind, because we'll just counteract them. What we'll do is tell the truth in every place. From now on, from tomorrow when we leave this conference hall, the main issue is to win this campaign. I know we can win this campaign, I've got no doubt about that whatsoever, but we need to make sure we get a big turnout in the ballot, and we need to make sure we get a big yes for it. Conference, you know, it's quite clear to me, you know, as everybody said, what the slogan is, we are worth more, we're worth much more, and we'll win this campaign. Conference, leave this thing, I want you to vote for this unanimously and going forward over the next few weeks. Conference, again.
Okay, conference. Emergency motion 2's before you. There's been no opposition, so there's no right to reply. All those in favour, please show. You getting that? And down. Any against? That's carried unanimously. Thank you, conference.
We're very confident that our members will vote yes on this, but it's not just a matter of getting a simple majority out of a ballot of this sort. We need a very, very large turnout in this ballot. I would encourage every single member to vote, in whatever way they vote. I would really like them to vote. That's the first thing. We need full participation in this ballot. And then once they vote, obviously I want them to vote yes for it, because we really need that to happen. It's the only way BT is going to see sense. If they don't meet us next week, the only way BT is going to see sense is for us to have a large yes vote in the ballot, upcoming ballot. That's the only way they'll get back round the table. So we'll give them that opportunity, but we need that very large yes vote from our members. We know that members are now backing the executive in what we're saying. We're going to get the full support of the members. I think we're clear. And you can see that today again with the people who came to that rostrum today. There were really good people from around the country. So it wasn't just one area. There were people there from all around the country of varying sort of views and normal. Everybody's united in this one. It's quite clear that BT is totally unfair in what they're giving to our members. And there's a real unity. There's never been so much unity in the telecom side of the union as there was today. And it was great to see it. It's great to be back to the old days when everyone was united. We were united today, we'll stay united, we'll win this campaign.